Hello there. Good morning, Nordic agencies, and greetings from cloudy Dublin this Thursday morning. Welcome to AdWords troubleshooting session, and this will be edition policies. And so we are going to talk a little bit about policies. Wouldn't take more than around 45 minutes, and I'm going to go through some frequently asked policy-related issues. My name is Eni. And I've come to Dublin in 2016. That's when I joined Google after I graduated. I did my studies in Sweden. So if anybody's listening this broadcast from Helsingborg, greetings to Helsingborg. Originally, I'm from Helsinki myself, so I'm born and raised in Finland, but now living my life here in lovely Dublin. So let's get started. Enough about me. Let's get into the business. So here's our agenda today, and what we planned for you is to go through three most frequent issues that you're asking us about, and those issues are the three bottom ones on the agenda. So. When your ads get rejected due to destination not working, let's go through the process on how you could go about that, what you can do on your own, how we can help you, and so forward. Then we have prescription drug terms. Our system is getting increasingly intelligent when it comes to prescription drug terms and overall in tracking policy violations. And that's why we also are getting increasing amount of contacts from you. And I want to let you know what can you do when you see a prescription drug term disapproval, because this is pretty much what you can troubleshoot on your own, even without contacting our team. So you will get it sorted out quicker than contacting us. And the third thing I'm going to talk about today is personal loans. So there's three principles when it comes to personal loans that you need to take into account when you're planning to advertise your clients' websites which are advertising personal loans. Remember that there's the chat over there. So in case you guys have questions, you're wondering something's unclear, go ahead and post your questions there. And if there will be time left, I'm happy to elaborate on your questions or then follow up with you. And these slides, just that you know, these slides will be available for you within around 2 weeks. So they contain a lot of useful links I would really recommend you to get back to. And so if you face these issues maybe a bit later on and want to remind yourself how can you troubleshoot, what should you do, then you can come back to these and just check the instructions here. We're not going to start about the three most frequent questions, but we're actually going to start just about re-review inquiries and what to do when your ads are under review. So let's move on. So, okay, Google, how to get ads re-reviewed. So let's say you are you're opening your client's account in the morning and you find out that there's ads disapproved, and then you're wondering what to do. So I'll tell you. So first of all, when ads get disapproved, there's in 99% of the time there's a legit reason for that, and that would mean that you would need to edit the ad, edit the landing page, and so on. So first, make sure you're checking the disapproval reason why the ads got rejected, and I posted a small screenshot over there. So there's a status column when you open the ads tab. And from that, just by hovering over the status column, you can see the disapproval reason, and you can see always more elaboration, no matter which disapproval is in question. So take as a basic process that you always check the status column. And that's how it looks like. Now, in this instant, this disapproval has been destination not working. And it also gives an elaboration of what kind of error we've found on the site when our bots have tried to access the sites. So we're always crawling your landing pages and making sure that the landing pages are safe and sure for users. And that's how we encounter the issues. And once you have edited the ad or the landing page, and especially if you only edit the landing page but not the ad, you would need to request another review via the ads tab. And there you can see that once you hover over the status column, you can get this little button saying request another review. And by clicking on that, you can send the ads for a new review. Remember that if you edit the ad, actually that will trigger a review immediately, because it will create a new copy of an ad. So then you wouldn't need to use the request another review button. But in case you're editing a landing page, like I said, use the interface button over there. And here's a pro tip. Always when you request another review via the AdWords interface, do select just one campaign. Submit just one campaign at a time. So every time I see campaigns where advertisers have tried to submit the ads by themselves to a new review, they have used the all campaigns option. So they have tried to trigger a review for all campaigns. And I would say I would always go just one campaign by campaign, just to make sure that it triggers correctly. So take that into your practices and you'll be grand. Then in some cases, an automated option wouldn't be available. So in some cases, you will discover that when you go on the status column, there's that link to request another review wouldn't exist. And if you encounter those kind of disapprovals, then I would advise you to contact our team, unless you have just previously requested another review, because then the button wouldn't exist if the ads have gone into under review status, so that they are already in our reviewing queues. But in case that button doesn't exist when it comes to some kind of certain disapprovals, then you would need to use the form that I linked there on the slide. And pro tip for the form: always remember to place the child account ID which you would want to get reviewed. Because when you use that form, it will be sent directly to our trust and safety team. That's a team who does the manual reviews here at Google. And they will be looking at the account ID that you put in on the form. So just make sure you have the child account ID when you fill in the form. If your ads are under review, just give them time to come through the review, and that the re-review might take up to 24 hours. Brilliant. I hope by far you know how to get a re-review for disapproved ads. Then there are instances when your ads have been pending under a review over 24 hours. And that's when I would advise you to contact us. So that's when we can help you. The question here goes, what's up in these situations? Because I know that this is a thing that advertisers often think about, why my ads are being pending. One likely scenario there would be that the ads have been enqueued for a manual review team. So pretty typically we would see this, for instance, when it comes to video ads. So those are perhaps a bit more sensitive ad category, and therefore they are enqueued to a manual review team. So especially when it comes to video campaign, when it comes to YouTube campaign, always do planning. So create your campaigns early to avoid any disappointments. So just to make sure that your ads will be running at the time you want them to be running, performing well and having lots of audience, do act in advance. So make sure that you create the campaigns, you can put them on a paused state, and by that we avoid disappointments. So just create them in advance, put a mark in your calendar, make a checking after 24 hours. You created the ads, see the ad status, In case the ads are still under review, reach out to us as soon as you can so that we can action the situation. And what happens when you reach out to us via the form that is given there is that we are prioritizing your ads in the manual review queue. So we're trying to make sure that we get them through as soon as possible. So always remember to act in advance, especially when it comes to video ads, but in any kind of other ads as well. I would advise you to not to create the campaign just on the day when you would need the ads to be live, but actually create it a few days in advance. Brilliant. So that's about how to get disapproved ads re-reviewed and what to do in case of under review ads. And then we can go on to the actual policy issues. So the 3 most common asked questions, which I mentioned when I talked about the agenda. And just to elaborate a bit, why do we have policies? I know that sometimes it may seem like policies are made to make advertisers' life more difficult, but that's definitely not the case. We have created ad policies because we need to ensure safe and positive experience for users in all Google platforms. So that's the number one thing we want to ensure as Google, and that's why we have a certain kind of policies when it comes to ads. In the very first slide, I had embedded a link to our policy support center. I really warmly welcome you to check that out. There's also a very interesting tab called Change Log. So every time you're curious about how our policies are changing, if there have been any recent changes, go into the policy center and check the change log. So that will give you interesting insights about how our policies are changing. And as always, policies are subject to a change as things changes in online trends, practices, industry norms, and regulations. Also bear in mind that when we talk about our policies, we also think about our values and culture as a company. So that's something that Google assesses, what we value and what kind of culture do we want to spread online. Then we're also looking at operational, technical, and business considerations. And one more thing before we go into this specific policy issue is that our team is available for you to troubleshoot issues that are present on the account. So only if you have, let's say, site suspended, ads disapproved, and so on and so forth, we can troubleshoot that. So we are unable to give you any kind of preemptive approvals or disapprovals. We're not medios in the AdWords troubleshooting team, even though we would like to. We cannot project the future disapprovals or approvals to you. But definitely we're happy to guide you on a general policies, which you will find from the support center, center change log, and so on. But if you have a present error on the account, you would need elaboration to that. We're the team to help you. So very happy to help you with that. Okay, so then let's move on to this actual question that we have on the slide. So your ads went down to a destination not working, and therefore your campaign wouldn't be performing. How should you go about that? So I'm going to give you the tips to quickest solve this issue, to make sure that everything is functioning correctly, and then how to trigger a re-review for the destination not working ads. Here are some reasons for destination not working disapprovals. So first of all, first possible reason could be that the landing page cannot be crawled to robots.txt file. So that's a text file that can be installed to a domain, and which can control bots and spiders to access the domain and to crawl it. And every time we're making sure that ad policies are followed, we need to be able to access the landing pages. So what we do is that our Google ad bots are accessing the landing pages, and they want to make sure that everything's in order. There's no policy violations. You're really advertising the product you have in the ad text. And if there's a robot file, you can check the robot file. It's actually accessible for everybody. So you just put the domain, which there would be example.com, and then you put /robots.txt, and there you would see how the robots file looks like. And if you would see a star and then a / there, then you would know that all robots would be disallowed, and it would apply to all sites. So having the star there definitely immediately tells you that also Google bots are not allowed to access the landing pages, and then you would know that that's the case. That needs to be removed so that we can access the site. So you would need to ask the webmaster of the page to remove that disallowance, and then submit the ads for a re-review. Another scenario that could have taken place is that ads are disapproved due that the landing page is geo-blocked, or it cannot be accessed from all devices or all common browsers. So often we get advertisers calling to us and saying, I tested the landing page. It's working just fine here in Finland. So why don't you just approve the ads? But the thing is, you need to make sure that it's working from India, it's working from US, it's working for Ireland, England, and so on. So we are testing the landing pages throughout the whole world. We're testing it globally and also with all devices. So we're testing whether it works for desktop, with mobile phones, with tablets, and different kind of types of phones, for instance. And it needs to be universally available so that we can check and ensure the safety and security. And there are loads of free tools to test whether the website is available globally. So you can just Google website availability tools and you will get things like Uptrends, GeoPeeker, and so on. So easy to check on your own too. Then one actually pretty typical scenario is that you agreed something with your client, but then their webmaster maybe changed the landing page a little bit, and that's why the final URL that you're using in the ad text is just taking users to a landing page saying 404, there's nothing in here. And that's, of course, not a great user experience. And that's why it's normal that these kind of landing pages would be rejected and ads would be disapproved, because it's very inconvenient experience when you think you're landing to some product page, but then it's no longer there. So just check the final URL from the ad. I'm going to show you in a minute how it looks like, how you can test the final URL yourself within AdWords. Then we have then one scenario is that page would be broken, and how to observe that is if you guys are using Google Chrome browser, you could just open the landing page or open the domain and then hit the 3 little dots on the top right corner of your Chrome browser, and then you would find more tools and eventually end up to Google Chrome developer tools. And from there, you can test the network by just uploading the page again, so refreshing the page, and then you can look for whether you see that there's elements that are severely broken, because that would obviously also lead into a disapproval, because it's a case where we cannot make sure that the site is really functioning for users. Then one likely reason for destination not working disapproval is poor website speed. There's a testing tool called Test My Site Think with Google. This is a super page, if you ask from me, and it's something that I would recommend you to also use when you talk with your client. So run that quick free test that is made by Google about your client's website, and you will get interesting insights and very nice handy recommendations what you could do in order to increase your page speed, increase the overall user experience on the page. And Poor website speed, if that applies to mobile, then that would need to be fixed as well, because, you know, like I said, we can crawl the landing pages with mobile bots as well, and that's why the ads may get disapproved if it's several seconds. Users anyway today are very get very frustrated easily. So overall, to make sure that the clicks are really leading to desired outcomes, it's very important that page loads quickly. Then one scenario that we've been seeing quite a lot is that the tracking template that is set inside the ad is not working. So make sure that you have that checked as well within the ad. I will show it to you on the next slide how to do that. The final point here is that we have loads of great tools to troubleshoot for webmasters in our help center. So always guide the webmasters in case you are unable to identify what's wrong, or in case you are able to identify what's wrong. Do give these resources to your webmaster, which you have available in our support center, because it will give them some handy tools to troubleshoot and then fix the error. So our team, we cannot fix anything on broken landing pages. We simply don't have access to your landing pages, right? So it's only the webmasters who can access that and then make sure that everything's in order. All the needed edits will be done. So you would need to partner a bit with the webmaster in these instances. And when you get this destination not working disapproval, here's the slide to show you how to test the destination within the ad. So you would just navigate to the ads tab and then test the ad in a way that you would hit edit on the ad that is disapproved, and then you would enlarge the ad. So when you go on the edit mode, hit the enlargement button. And then you will get a large view of the editor. And there you can see advanced options, add URL options. And once you open that, you will get a test button, which you can hit, and then it will give you the results. So sometimes that test tool might give you a result that the landing page can be found, which is great, but that doesn't actually test website availability, for instance. So it doesn't test the geographical availability, but that's a great tool to check. What is your final URL and what is your click URL? So if you would have a tracking template in use, for instance, it could be that your final URL is actually different from your click URL, and that's not going to work. So those two need to be the same. So the expected final URL has to be the same than what the click URL is. And then you could just, in this instance, you could just copy the click URL from the landing page found status, and then you could paste it on your browser and start testing with the aforementioned tools that we went through. And once you worked with the webmaster and he or she confirmed that everything's fixed, the landing page is working, you can go ahead and submit the ads for a re-review from the ads tab. And that was on the previous slides, how you can do that. And remember that destination not working is one of those disapprovals that cannot be turned over manually. So there's no way our manual ad review team can review the ads. So they need to be you need to just submit those via the interface to the automated review. It's way quicker anyway, so you will get better results always with that. And once you have triggered the re-review, do remember to do campaign by campaign. That's my best friend. Then take back the new results in a few hours. So just allow AdWords some time to check out the ads. And then you can see the result and make sure that everything's fixed. Also, if you're looking for quick fixes, you see that there's destination not working, disapproval. You're a little bit unsure on how on which time the webmaster can turn around, can make the landing page working. One handy thing, of course, there would be to change the final URL, especially if they are unable to identify what's wrong. So then just go ahead and change the landing the final URL, and that will trigger again a re-review, and then hopefully will guarantee you a better result. Okay, so that's about destination not working. Then the next matter that I'm going to talk about is disapprovals to prescription drug terms, and what to do there. So sometimes you see ads being disapproved, and then when you go and look at the status column, you can see that they are disapproved to prescription drug term, and their disapproval reason, the status column might actually also tell you that you need a online pharmacy certificate in order to be able to advertise the drug terms. And here we go. Let's see what to do in this instance. So step one would be to check again the status column from the ads tab. Sorry about the screenshot. It's now about destination not working. I was unable to find a prescription drug term disapproval last night. But let's play that it would have prescription drug term disapproval. So there you would be actually able to click the disapproval, the red warning sign, and then you would get the what is the term that is actually causing the disapproval. So it's super handy. You'll get loads of details already from there. And once you know what the disapproval reason would be, we can make a play that it would be Botox, for instance. You would go on editing the ad. You would test the landing page to get the click URL, just like I showed on the previous slides. And then once you get the final URL, just copy that, paste it in your browser, and open the landing page. And then you can step into step 2. So you can check the landing page script by clicking the right side of your mouse, choosing View Landing Page Source, and then you would have the source code of the landing page in front of you. Then just hit Control F and search with the term. In this instance, it would be Botox. So just type in Botox and see if that term will be found from the landing page script. And once that's found, then you would know, okay, this is the term that needs to be removed. And that's, again, the point when you would need to contact the webmaster if you don't have access to the landing page script, and just have that prescription drug term removed. And there are there's two lists, actually, when it comes to pharmaceuticals and healthcare and medicine. And the lists I've linked over there. So the first list there is prescription drug terms. And when you have this disapproval, you're often seeing also a warning saying online pharmacy certificate required. What that actually means that in some countries, you are able to target the drug terms that are in the list, in the first list. You're able to target them as keywords, but you still cannot have them on the landing page, and you cannot have them on the ad text. So basically, if you have an online pharmacy customer, they can, if they want to, they can apply the online pharmacy certificate, and this only applies to certain countries, not all Nordic countries. You can see the country-specific list from our policy center. And they can apply the online pharmacy certificate. Once they get it, you can target to keywords on that prescription drug term list, but you still cannot have them on the landing page and on the ad text. So remember that. So anyway, you would need to get the landing page issue resolved. Then we have also a list of unapproved pharmaceuticals. and supplements. So that's a supplement pharmaceutical list that is never allowed advertised on AdWords. So that's a good one to check out as well, so that you know what kind of substances are not allowed. There's some weight loss substances, for instance, and many more. So you can check the list from there. And if you come across this kind of disapproval, then you know that will need to be removed from the landing page script and from the ad text. And once you work with the landing page script, once you remove the term from the landing page, and also if it's on the ad text, of course, you can go ahead and submit the ads to a new re-review directly from the ads tab. So again, go on the ads tab, hover over status column, and hit request another review. Do campaign by campaign, and you'll be fine. So these pharmaceutical term disapprovals, these can be also turned down by the automatic review. So it's super handy for you. By far, you wouldn't even need to actually contact our team. You could do all of this on your own. And the AdWords beta version is great on showing you the disapproval reasons. That's why my screenshots are also using the AdWords beta. I really like it. I've been now using it for about 8 months or so, and I've really become a fan of it, even though it's always difficult to start using something new. But I love AdWords beta for sure. Lovely. Then the last most frequently asked ad policy issue is a policy that we call personal loans policy. And I wanted to go through this with you because it's actually pretty straightforward what needs to be on the landing page of an ad that is advertising personal loans. And if these are missing, the ads will get rejected, the user experience will suffer. So really make sure that you get these straight when you're advertising personal loans. So 3 things that you need to have on the landing page. You don't need to have it on the ad text, but they need to be present on the landing page. They need to be written on a proper font, so not like teeny weeny fonts that wouldn't be allowed. We want to make it fair to the users so that they can read this information, and it's easily accessible, easily available, and they won't miss out on anything when they are looking for personal loans advertisement. So the requirement number 1 here would be that we don't allow personal loans that needs to be fully repaid in less than 60 days. So you need to have a minimum and maximum period of repayment stated on the landing page that you're advertising, and it shouldn't be it cannot be less than 60 days. Then the requirement number 2 is to clearly represent the max annual percentage rate, including interest rate, fees, and other costs that might be applicable for the personal loan. And the requirement number 3 would be to have a representative example of the total cost of the loan, including all applicable fees. So the next time you're having personal loans disapprovals, check your final URL, check your landing page, and make sure these 3 things are well represented on the landing page, are easy to find and easy to interpret, and you should be just fine. Then check from the ads tab under the status if you can trigger a re-review. If you cannot, you can use the form to ask a re-review from our team, and just remember to put in the child account ID to get the ads re-reviewed as soon as possible. There we go. So now we've gone through a little bit we've surfaced the ads policies that we have, the three most common asked ads policies. So I hope you got some kind of ideas on how to troubleshoot these on your own. The main message would be that you can do a lot on your own, which is just fantastic. So you can troubleshoot a lot on your own. You don't need to call to us and prolong the process because of that. So you can do basic troubleshooting on your own with those free tools that we have, and then you can communicate with your webmaster, ask them to fix the issues, and then you can use those fabulous automated re-review tools that we have in order to solve the issues. Of course, if there are things you wonder about, if an ad disapproval would be unclear, you're definitely more than welcome to give us a call, and we'll be happy to guide you on those. But those little steps actually make a long way often, so you're able to. What we want to do is we want to empower you to take care of the issues on your own, as in basically smallest possible time. Okay, there seems to be no questions via the chat. So I guess I was clear enough. I hope I was, or everything was so overwhelming that you got left with wondering many things. I hope to see you soon again in terms of training you. It's always a pleasure to talk about these frequently asked questions and help you to understand them, help you to action them, and give us a call when you need us. So thanks for having me, and I wish you a pleasant rest of the week. Bye.